Hello there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if you're the first one here, but welcome. Yep, we have a few more people coming in. We're going to go ahead and give everyone a moment. But today, this is going to be a really, really big one. I'm actually recording this one for the first time, even though this video is going to be up. Even though this video is going to go up, I am actually going to restart recording this one, and I'm going to even delineate it with chapters. I have a script and everything. If you guys missed any previous masterclasses, this will actually be the perfect way to get you back up to speed, so that way you guys can essentially, basically essentially get really, really, really comfortable. This will be the only VOD you ever need. Hopefully you can consult to it if you ever need to go back to basics, but that's my goal. We're going to fix that. Don't worry. I have to fix that. But yeah, come on in. Come on in. It's going to be extremely fun. I'm excited to talk about pressure. So this is going to be a big one. I have a lot of questions. I've been watching you guys for a while, and I feel like now is an amazing time to actually start talking about you guys and start talking to you guys. And I think I can finally address a lot of the concerns that you guys are having getting really, really, really started. And I have Rat's Guide to watch after this. It's very cool. Oh, nice. Thanks, Chef. You're OD. Bobby, if you're in the chat, guess what? You are now eligible to join the thing. Courtesy of Chef. Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited to start this one. I'm going to give everyone about like 10 or so minutes to kind of come in. And once we start there, we're gonna get started. But if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask me in the meantime, feel free. I'm very, very interested. Wrath did a monkey guide. That's pretty cool. I have a lot of thoughts on Gogeta. But I think Gogeta might be one of the strongest characters in the game for some players. I don't think he's going to be pick up and play the way like Kid Buu is or UI Goku. So, but I did play Gogeta today. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But, yeah, we're definitely starting. We're definitely starting soon. Starting super, super strong. But I'm pretty excited to talk about pressure because this is something that a lot of people that I feel... ooh, I should add that to the script. Common misconceptions. I'm going to add that. That's a good idea. Let's go. I have some misconceptions that I'm definitely going to have to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and remove this window and put it about right here. We're going to shrink this window a lot. He looks like he's made for France. No, he's made so people can beat France. Like, he is probably... He's not unorthodox, that's the thing. He's actually the most basic character that they've ever released. They already tried with Adult Gohan, but they didn't do it correctly with Adult Gohan. I think they did it correctly this time with Gogeta. But Gogeta is a real fighting game character. No, you don't need full screen options in this game. That is actually a misconception. And I'll talk to you why. I asked your opinion on Baby. I don't think Baby's very strong. I actually think he's pretty bad, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I would go as far as to call him bottom tier. But... amazing damage, and I think his support value is second to none. I think he's one of the best assists in the game. I think he's one of the best mids you can play. However, as a character, and whether or not I think you should play him, no. He is very much a more complete adult Gohan, and I don't say that just because of the level up mechanic. Although I do think Gogeta's level up mechanic is more effective, but again, not for the same reason you guys might think his level up mechanic is more effective. But yeah, I want to make sure people get in here as much as possible because I do want to talk about pressure, and I want to make sure that everyone fully is up to speed. But what kind of questions do you guys have? Like, what kind of questions do you guys want to know? Do you guys are you guys struggling at all? Let's see. Yeah, yeah. I wish I could play Gogeta. I can play him on PS4. I was doing some matches with him. What do you mean no one notices? Like, what do you mean no one notices your rhythm is bad? Nine people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. I'm getting ready to get started. Should be a fun stream. But yeah, I can definitely help you work on your rhythm. But answering that question, the because that's the thing. No one noticing your pressure is bad. Like that can mean a couple of things. If you're getting mashed on a lot, or if you feel like people are dealing with your pressure very easily. Okay, so it feels like they all treat it all like a true block string until I try to do something more unsafe. Then it's mash central, and it's probably bad. But like, shoot, maybe I'll just ask if they're respecting your pressure because they think it's all a true block string, and you're intentionally delaying your strings. You're doing well. What that means is delay more. So I can jump in right now while we're waiting, so that way we can get some stuff in the stream. Just to demonstrate almost how universal this is, I'll do this. That's hilarious. This team's broken. But you guys all saw me do it. It's all random select. But I will bring in the boy GT. Because I feel like the boy GT is super, super, super good. So here's the thing that I did not tell you. What kind of... pretty high. This game is mostly Goku's. So right here, okay? Yeah, F's in the chat. So thing about GT Goku, okay? That's very, very important. Hey, Omega, welcome back. Glad to see you here, man. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm very, very happy. That's a baguette, yeah. So here's the thing. If they're treating all of this like a true block string, like, if they're treating all of this as a true block string, and they're showing you that they respect, and just abuse it. Just do that. Now, here's the thing. If they mash here, if you do something like this, and they mash here, then delay. Like that. That will catch them. You can also do that. Because that delay timing right there, they assume that when you go for something unsafe, your rhythm is telling them that you're about to do something that's not a frame trap. Which means, like, if you're doing, like, this rhythm, they're telling you, and they start mashing, they're essentially telling you, hey, your mix-ups are obvious because, like, when you stop, like if you're going to go for a 6M, instead of doing this, you do that. And that timing is going to tell me that you're going to 6M. So what you do is you do this. You heavily delay the next button, so they think that you're going to do something, and then, oops, nope, you thought it was your turn, but it isn't. That's what you do. So basically, you want to alternate your rhythm. Another really great example of this would be Blue Goku. So this is a true block string. But I can do that. Frame trap. Oops. Oh my god. 6M. Dash forward. And from there, I have other options. So, if I were to change my rhythm, I don't want them to interact and stop my 4M. My 4M is where most of my hits are coming from. So, instead of letting them interact with that, I'm not going to do... Sometimes I could, but what I'll do is maybe... and then stop, because that pause tells you something's coming. I could DR. Okay, well, I know when he paused, I'm gonna mash. Oh. Well, maybe not with that assist, but... No, like this. You just dash block, call, and assist. When you dash block... Oh my god, I can't do it. Doing it too early. When you dash block and call an assist like that, you are essentially baiting them into doing something, and then you're letting the assist confirm for you. They think that they can escape, and eventually they start respecting that. So that's safe. This is an example of safe pressure. Doing this. That's a reset. Now, resets are risky, but there's a couple of things that let Goku get away with this. The first one is something that we'll talk about in a more advanced masterclass, which is called spacing. See? They can't mash here. And then they just get hit. And so on, so on, so on. The rest is history. Another thing I can do is frame trap. Like that. And so on, so on. Boom, done. And look, they lost 5k because they ate a frame trap. 6M. And because I'm space, it's really good. And that makes the DR a lot safer by extension. So that's some ways you can play with your rhythm. So if you want a frame trap, do a true block string, stop, and then boom, frame trap. So true block string, stop, frame trap. That's the most common way you're going to get a lot of touches. Another thing that you can do is, as Ryan calls it, 2M, 2M. Yeah, that's how you can abuse your rhythm and learn how to actually make people interact with your opponent. Because if you do a true block string and stop, if your opponent's mashing when you go for something quote-unquote unsafe, that means that they're mashing because they felt a large enough gap and thought that they could get out. So you can go, no, you can't, bye. But that's basically how it starts, and that's really good. Do we have any other questions? I'm going to take some final questions before I get started. Can you explain frame traps? Because I really don't understand what they are. I was going to do that in a recap portion, so I will answer your question pretty simply, but I can answer it right now. I'll just repeat myself later. Frame traps, not just mashing. Frame traps essentially have to do with frame data. In most video games, if you have a move that's like... To explain it simply. Oops. That right there is a frame trap. Why did Frieza get hit even though he's guard all? It's because I caught his pre-jump frames, which means there is a gap that's large enough for him to input something and not block, but small enough that I stuff whatever he's doing. So right here, that's a delay, but if I do a true block string, notice how he doesn't jump. I'm leaving a gap large enough for him to interact with my pressure, and then he gets hit for it. And this is particularly dirty, because when people generally like to do what people generally like to do in this particular situation is frame one options. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, a frame trap is when the startup, when you use the Gatling system and you cancel the recovery frames of your last normal into the startup of your next one, and that gap is essentially going to allow your opponent to exit block stun for a short period of time, but not exit it long enough for them to meaningfully do anything. So a jump is 4 frames. I can catch them if my frame trap is a gap less than 4 frames. So if he jumps, he's going to get hit by the 2M. If he mashes, he's definitely going to get hit by the 2M. Anything he does here other than a frame 1 option, like a level 3, in some characters' cases, DPs, or reflect, is going to die here. That's a frame trap. All right, guys. We ready for... I think we're ready to begin. Which means I'm going to go ahead and hit record. I'm going to make sure I record the stream so that way we have it. All right, we are recording. Hello. Today, we are going to talk about pressure and the mindset for creating pressure. Pressure is a mind game above all else. And one of the biggest issues that I see with a lot of the newer players and a lot of players that are just learning high-level pressure, one of the things that they struggle with is they're not really certain what they can do. And today we're going to talk about the mindset that you need to approach in order to create pressure, how to effectively read your opponent's mindset so that way you can abuse their pressure, or you can abuse your pressure to create essentially an opportunity for them to make a mistake, or when to keep yourself safe and when to allow yourself to take a risk. Before we begin, we're going to do a basic recap of simple rules. And I'm going to demonstrate these rules with a team that I think has very good pressure. We'll talk about her. There we go. Pfft, that team is ridiculous. Not as many people in here today, but that's okay. So, yeah, for real. So, creating pressure. First thing is there are a couple of rules that you need to keep in mind at all times when pressuring. Rule number 1. Pressure is inherently risky. And as a offensive opponent that is aggressing on someone else, you need to accept and be at peace with that risk. The way I like to think of it is you're signing a waiver every time you put someone in a block string whenever you pressure. You are signing a waiver. And you might be wondering, well, why wouldn't I just do safe pressure? Why would I do something unsafe? Everything you do is unsafe, even 6M. So doing something like a true block string into 6M, this is risky. How do I know? Every time you walked up to someone 5 out the yard, every time you stop your block string randomly, sometimes every time you super dash. Oh, that beat it. There you go. Pressure is always risky. And the optimal way to avoid that risk is by making sure you understand the risk every situation you impart creates. That will come with time, that'll come with experience, and that'll definitely come with learning. So feel free to subscribe if you guys haven't already, so that way you can continue learning some high-level pressure. But most importantly, that'll come by playing a lot and playing a wide variety of different people. But once you accept that goal, that's when you can start creating some really disgusting pressure. Or once you accept that rule. That's rule number 1. All pressure has a degree of risk. Rule number 2. The method of creating pressure is a very, very simple flow chart. This flow chart becomes more sophisticated with time. It becomes more sophisticated the higher levels you go, but the basic principles are always going to remain the same. You want to create respect and then abuse the respect you create. So you might be wondering, how do we go about creating respect? What does that mean? Well, just because they can mash on 6M or 5LDR doesn't mean they should. So I already took 4.2k off a very inoptimal combo. Nonetheless, if I finish that combo, they're in the corner and in a 2-touch situation. So, boom. Boom. Every time. And this is a frame perfect mash too. Most people are not even going to be this frame perfect. They're usually going to be about 5 to 8 frames late. So I could do this. Look at that delay. That was a true string. There you go. Boom. This is a frame trap. This is a frame trap. This is a good way to keep it safe. Because whenever an opponent is blocking, the goal for the opponent is to get out of the situation in any way that they can. Understand that. There are a lot of ways that your opponent can get out. If you create openings that are too obvious, your opponent will use them to get out. You must create respect. Now they could mash, but they don't know if I'm gonna frame trap. They don't know if I'm gonna DR. They don't know if I'm gonna 6M. They don't know if I'm gonna They don't know if I'm gonna cross up. They don't know if I'm gonna super dash. They don't know if I'm gonna fake cross up. See where this is going? Too many things. They don't know if I'm gonna dash up and reset. And look at that, I'm safe. They would have to mash within a 2-frame window for them to actually hit me. And also, they don't know if I'm gonna mix. Now, that's how you create respect. You threaten safe options, and then you make it very difficult for them to determine what you're going to do. Now, he could get out if he mashes on me. He could get out if I 6M, but that's not going to happen. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because of a little thing that we're going to keep track of. Risk versus reward. At best, he gets a light starter. I get a medium scaling starter. I can TOD him if he's wrong. Does that seem like it's worth the risk to get out when you could probably just react to the 6M and tech the DR? No. Not really. And a lot of high-level players will see that way too. Now, once he begins to respect, we're going to start abusing it. So these are resets. See, I go back to 5L from 5M. So what a pressure reset is, for those of you that don't know, a lot of you call it staggers. You can, that's the technical term for it. I think staggers is a bit more limited. Resets, I think, are a bit more accurate. So all of my block streams can only flow in one direction. Light, medium, heavy, special, key blast, I guess, and then special move. There you go. This is a basic block string. Now, once I start from here, I cannot safely go back to 5L without incurring a huge risk. They can mash on any reset that I do. See? See? I'm pressing. You guys can probably hear the button. Now, how do we reset safely? And why do we reset? We're going to reset because that's going to abuse our respect. So I'll do something like this. I'm back at 5L. So here's the thing. Let's say they tech 5LDR. Okay, what if I do this? Will they tech that? Because they're not expecting the DR there. They're not expecting the DR so late in a string. And if I frame trap, that's a frame trap. That's a reset. You're missing a recap. This is extremely, extremely strong. That's a frame trap. That's a reset. Safe pressure. Risky pressure. Can you tell the difference? Now, anybody who counts frames could be like, of course there's an obvious difference. There's like a 20 frame gap and you know, you can probably tell the difference. No, you can't. Because human brains don't work that way. We're not computers. It's very hard for us to see in terms of frames. Now, frames is a good way of us measuring time to make certain decisions. Like, obviously, you want to know the frames of this because you want to know if it jails in the vanish. Cool. That's where frames are useful. When it comes to... oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much, Sucrose. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Wow, you guys are amazing. I cannot believe how insanely generous you guys are. Thank you so much. So what I plan on doing is... So what I'm going to plan on doing... I completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. No, I agree. No, but I agree. They get hit by 6M. Because, you know, you could do a lot of stuff. There are ways you can make your 6Ms more ambiguous, and we'll get to that later. But basically, in our recap portion, pretty easy to follow. Back on track. This is very ambiguous timing. See? And because of that, your opponent's risking. I'm like, do I want to get hit by a reset? Or do I want to get hit by a 5M? I'm just going to block. And that's how you create respect. Because the opponent is unsure of what you're going to do, it is in their best interest to continue blocking. Now you might be saying, what if they just reflect? You could do that. So let's say I do this. Yeah, that could deal with it. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Oops, messed up. There you go. That was correct. Or even more messingly, this, which is a low. People have to stand block to reflect, which means whenever they're not open, this is hitting. And the last thing they're expecting is a full screen low. Or I'm sorry, not a full screen, like a half screen low or an almost full screen low. Okay, well, what if they reflect the reset? You just come right back in. And even if they don't, and even if you have a character that doesn't, doesn't matter, because this is universal. Oh. 5L reflectors. Oh, gotcha. Including some characters, 5L mediums. A lot of characters have what's called a reflect-proof string. As long as you know what your reflect-proof options, it's fine. To be completely honest, it doesn't really matter. I don't think reflect strings really come to play a lot in high level, to be completely honest. And the reason why is because there are multiple types of resets, including a reset that I intend on giving a whole masterclass to, which is the dash reset. This is the reflect killer. And also, you want to be careful, because if you reflect the wrong thing, I could just DR you. If I'm her, oops. I got a command grab. And I can do it off a dash. So a lot of people are like, my god, these unreactable command grabs are so strong, but you have to dash. That kind of sucks. Does it? Does it? Seems like a safe bet to me, because you will see that a lot at high level. You are 100% correct, Ibi Kuni. I hope I pronounced that right, or Ibi Kuni. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. If I mispronounce it, please let me know. But you're also correct. Reflect raw tag is a big thing in this game. So if they reflect the right thing and then they raw tag, that is a very, very strong option to get out. Thank you so much for coming, Gisela. I don't think I've seen either of you guys here. Thank you so much for thank you so much for showing up. I really hope you guys like it. So the big thing, right, is that it's not easy to reflect a character. Now, reflect tag is a very, very big issue. That is a very good defensive mechanic, and one that will get its own masterclass, because it's so good. It's so good. But it also loses to dash reset. But we'll talk about dash reset some other time. The point being is that whenever your opponent chooses to interact with your block string, just like you, they are incurring a degree of risk. And the degree of risk for them is usually larger, most of the time, than the degree of risk for you. Because they are risking a medium, they are risking actually getting thrown, yeah, exactly. They are at risk for a lot more punishment than you are. So make sure you keep that in mind. Oh, fair enough. For the VODs that you post on YouTube, you should add the chat screen so YouTube viewers know what you're responding to. That's correct. I can also just make a habit of actually reading out your messages. That might be a good idea. So point being is that there are limited ways to interact with your pressure. Now, the big one, raw level 3. Let's see. And that's why dash resets are good. Why? Why is he so safe? I can't convert off that assist. It's been ages. Who uses Bardock A anymore, right? Point is, dash resets are strong because what a dash does is it signals that you're going to do something. That looks like I'm starting something. But surprise, I'm safe. I hate that assist. Oh, you're right. I think I recognize your name. Thank you for coming back, man. I really appreciate you remembering me. That means a lot. I'm not sure if you're following or not, so if you are, my apologies. I think you might be. Your name seems really familiar. Point being, it's risky. Do dash resets work on grab supers like Beerus and Trunks? They do not. They do not. Thankfully, there's only a couple of them in the game. But still risky to do. You also can't really safe jump them either, to be honest. But they have less risk. So if I do something like that, and then you decide to level 3, I can just do a lot. I remember during eval, Ken got happy I did dash blocks. None of them were dash blocking because I was worrying I'll accidentally input a light or either get a hit and end my turn at best. That's because dash blocking during your pressure is an incredibly strong tactic. It's also very strong neutral as well. Doing something like this is very strong, or calling a full screen, because then you could 2H if they do something. You know, staying grounded is very strong in general. So dash blocking is definitely something that you guys are going to have to build a habit for. But that is a great way to deal with your opponent's pressure. The goal of pressure, and this is a big one, the goal of pressure is to overwhelm your opponent mentally with your array of options while simultaneously limiting theirs. Once again, in simpler terms, you have more options than they do. You need to smother them with it. They need to never be certain what you're going to do. That's rule number 4. Always be ambiguous. Your opponent should never know what you're going to do. So, am I going to dash reset? Nope, I'm going to frame trap. Am I going to go for DR? No, I'm going to 6M. Am I going to go for 6M? No, I'm going to cross up. Maybe not Vegeta. Ooh, this button. Let's go back to Kefla. Am I going to do this? Am I gonna respect something? No, I'm gonna go for a mix-up. You never want your opponent to be completely sure what you're doing. The reason why is because ambiguity is the greatest stay of hand. And what that means is your opponent, especially as you climb to higher levels, is going to be a lot less likely to interact with your pressure if they don't understand the situation, or if they do understand the situation and don't want to get hit. So you guys might have seen Kasuga and I doing something like this. You guys might have seen a pressure pattern like that. Now, you might be wondering, yo, that looks hella fake. Why the hell is Kasuga respecting that? I thought Kasuga was a world-class player. He is, and that's why he's blocking. It's because he doesn't know if that's going to be a frame trap, or if this is going to be a bonk, or if this is going to be... So what he's doing is, I'm going to sit here and block, look for an opportunity to escape, and I'm just going to react to whatever he does. Now that comes with its own risks. Remember, everything carries risk in this game, including doing nothing. Once your opponent has got to that point where they don't want to press anything, that's when you abuse respect. That's when you go for the grossest mix-ups that you can think of. All of this is fake. All of this would and has hit top players. And I'm just messing around. I don't even play this team. I'm just messing around. But point is, that's when you go ham on them. Because now they don't know what's happening. Now they're in a situation where they're trying to react to options that they were not even necessarily thinking about. Most people are thinking about DR, 6M. They're not thinking about that. They're just like, oh, he's in the air. He's going to cross up. What do you mean he super dashed? Always be ambiguous. Rule number 4. Definitely really important to remember and to consider. And with that in mind, we can begin. Before I continue, I want to talk about some common misconceptions. Conception number 1 is that pressures and staggers feel risky. They are as risky as you allow them to be. A frame trap is generally pretty safe because even if reflect tag works, because somebody brought it up, you always have the golden option. Do nothing. Now, that's not a frame perfect thing because I wanted to demonstrate exactly what I mean. Okay, I'll just do nothing. Or even better, because I think you guys will know where this is going. There you go. If you know your opponent likes to reflect tag, you can literally just dash block into 2H. The timing is actually really hard because I messed up. I bungled this recording. There we go. That might be better. Nah. And from there, they die. So, keep that in mind. Pressure is an exchange. It's a mind game. Pressure is generally unsafe, but you always have the option of doing nothing. And at worst, they take their turn back. So if you're like, what if they mash here? What if they just mash, right? Well, you're safe on block. Sometimes just do nothing. Now, don't do this all the time, obviously. But you'll see a lot of top-level players in Japan just do this, and then they reflect. Now, that's a mind game. But staggers are not unsafe. This is safe pressure. Oops. He says, getting hit. Gotta find the frame trap time. There we go. It's hard to getting the... I'm not used to the frame perfect frame trap timing because most people are not frame perfect. Like, for you to be frame perfect while matching on someone, you literally have to be doing that. Or fuzzy mashing. Which, that catches. If you suspect your opponent's a fuzzy masher, there are ways to deal with that. The biggest one is that. Just space it out. But we'll talk about that some other time. Yes, fuzzy mashing is when you press a button during your opponent's block string while you're in block stun. If you continue to be in block stun, the button doesn't come out. If you are no longer in block stun, the button comes out and you will likely counter hit them. However, the reason why I don't like this is because you just died of frame trapping. Like that. It's very easy to catch. Oops. Easiest thing in the world to catch if you're not careful. So definitely keep that in mind when you are going. So, how did the word fuzzy even come into FGC vocabulary? You would have to look at the history of like FGC terms. I don't want to give that here, but it's pretty interesting. And fuzzy is basically a type of option select. Essentially, it's also it's a long thing. That's one of the most difficult words to talk about in the FGC, to be honest. But anyway. Point being, pressure is pretty safe. This is safe pressure. That's safe pressure. And then if you do those enough, that becomes safe pressure. because it's ambiguous. And this is what I do to most of you. You can use a lot of your tools, and we'll go over them in detail in their individual masterclasses moving forward, but I will teach you how to create pressure that is both incredibly effective, but also incredibly safe. We'll go over that another time. But pressuring somebody is definitely safe, especially if you do something simple from the building blocks. As you guys might remember, this was your homework. 2L, 5L, 6M, 2L, 5L, DR, 2L, 5L, frame trap, 2L, 5L, dash reset, or 2L, 5L, reset. That's it. Those are the only 4 you guys need right now, or 5. You don't need much more than this. Now, there are a lot more options than that, but it's easy for you guys as you're learning how to pressure to become overwhelmed with all the options you have. So keeping it very, very, very simple is what we want to do right now. Once again, 2L, 5L, 6M, 2L, 5L, frame trap, 2L, 5L, DR. That was a dash. My bad. Habit. 2L, 5L, dash. 2L, 5L, reset. And that's it. That's all you guys need. What is your goal? Well, let's see. I'm sorry. My apologies. I got ahead of my own script. Now, another common complaint is, man, I tried it Stagger, but Ken, how do I deal with all of these mashers online? Mashers are the ultimate people you should be fighting for 2 reasons. They're going to be free teachers, and they will teach you what's wrong with your pressure, or they will be free wins because they don't block. For the reason, just frame trap. If they mash and you know they like to mash, do stuff like this. That catches everyone. 2M, 2M, resetting into the same button. That's ambiguous enough. There's a large enough gap. They're like, oh, I think I could go. Nope, you die. Mashers, when you see a masher, that masher needs to be dealt with safe pressure. Safe, effective pressure. Don't mix. Don't 5LDR. Don't go for that fancy, cool mix-up you have. Don't even go for the Super Dash 50-50. Just frame trap. Or just reset and let it happen. Just do this. This is my only pressure against half of the students that I teach when I'm actually trying to get them to defend. And this is often where the just block meme comes from, by the way. Because if they just block, nothing happens. There's no risk. There's no risk to them blocking me if I'm only doing frame traps and resets. It doesn't matter. However, if they are not careful, they just explode. And that is the easiest way to get your medium starters. If you want to practice that new sexy TOD that you've been working on, find yourself a masher. You will get a lot of opportunities. That's how you deal with mashers. And then the last misconception that I see, pressure is rock, paper, scissors, or RPS for short. No. What is RPS? Well, just like you guys can imagine, you guys rock, paper, scissors, one of you picks an option, another one picks another option, one of you guys is going to win. Or you guys have the same option and it creates a neutral exchange. This doesn't happen in DBFZ. Because in DBFZ and in most fighting games, when you're actually pressuring somebody, it's the equivalent of saying, okay, this is rock, paper, scissors, but I actually have 2 more options that you didn't even realize that I had. And by the way, you're not allowed to choose paper or rock because the string that I'm doing doesn't let you choose it. That's not rock, paper, scissors. That's closer to Russian roulette. In your opponent. That is not a fun situation to be in. That is a very scary situation to be in because I can control how many options you have. Because here's the thing. Yeah, you can reflect, you can mash. But what if I don't want you to? I could just choose string. What if I want you to, but not too much? What if I want you to? Boom. And that's how you get them. What if I want you to? I get to decide what my options, what my opponent's options are. As long as I understand my opponent and the way that they're playing and I'm paying close attention to them, and most importantly, I understand my own characters and their characters and the situation, your options are really limited. You do not have a lot of options here. A great example of understanding a situation would be Blue Goku. Thank you so much. Be sure to catch the VOD when it comes out. And of course, feel free to like and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can join the private Discord. So that way, all of our VODs are going to be up there on a link. And you can also communicate with these wonderful people in chat where we all help each other get better at Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's good to have you here, man. Please come back another time. You take care, Omega. But here's the beautiful thing, right? About Blue Goku. Oh, you can only do the command grab if he dashes. Oh, you mean dashing for free? A character has poor anti-reflect when you can dash reset on a button for free. That dash reset is completely safe. I am only -4. Meaning even frame perfect will catch my opponent's mash. And if I have a good assist, I could just do that. And I'm plus anyway. And they interact. And look how far Kefla is behind me. Oops. Calling her too soon. Boom. Now I can dash reset for free. And now I understand what my opponent's options are. Because I can do this if they decide to jump. I can do this if they decide to mash. I can do this if I want to play it safe. Or I can do that. Every dash up with this character is a 50-50. And if they reflect... 6.2K off of a reactable command grab because you decided to reflect after 4M. He does not need anti-stagger strings. Or, I'm sorry, he does not need anti-reflect strings. Whoever says that is absolutely silly. Because, reflecting that character is potentially death. And by the way, I don't know if you guys caught that. So let me do it again. Well, if I can do it again. Oops, too high. Already. Oops. Now, of course, I'm under pressure. Point is, I can build a lot of bar. Terrible today. Point being, you're going to get hit, and you're going to hold that, and it's not going to be a fun situation for you. That, like, the risk of reflecting against this character is higher than normal. Because he has, not only does he have, not only is that insanely good, but he can also do this. Oops. He can make his other buttons -2 as well. Oops. What do you do against that? What are you going to reflect? Because at any point, I could just do that. That's why this character is broken. Oh, yeah. Oh, you think his 2M is safe? There are some distances where you can make it plus. I can make it +1. I can make it 0 most of the time. I can make my pressure so safe with Blue Goku. And it doesn't look safe, but it is. And if you're wrong, and you're like, I'm going to reflect, and I dashed up, GG's. I just called a command grab. And if I do my light one, I don't have an assist on... maybe I can do it with Kefla. No, not that. My bad. Don't do that. But if I... Like, let's say we have that exchange. Nah, missed. It's been a while since I played Bluku. Good way to avoid it. Raw tag. Don't spark, but yeah. I sparked out of habit. I was practicing a TOD the other day. It became muscle memory. Really? Wow. I'm terrible, guys. Ignore my badness, please. This always happens, even to Star. But now I know what it feels like. Point is, you can do 5k off of a fucking command grab. Jesus Christ. Sorry. That is really annoying. Oh my god. And then so on, so on, so on. I'm doing this. Hello, Zune. How's it going? Point being, don't reflect. Reflect is a good way to get grabbed by a Bluku. Which is why it's good that he doesn't have an anti-reflect string, because he would be absolutely insane otherwise. Because every time you reflect this man, it'd be a 50-50. So, those are the misconceptions that we have. How do we go about creating goals and pressure? On what makes black strong? Well, I'm actually going to talk about his stagger pressure. And I think his staggers are probably the best thing about him. Let's see, where be Goku Black? There he goes. Oh, that's fine. I'm just explaining and recapping what we've covered in the last master classes. So that way you guys can have a full scale reference to come back and listen to whatever you have to. I am also going to start time stamping these. We're now going to talk about creating safe pressure and the mindset you should have when creating goals for pressure. So one of the biggest things that I can definitely tell you guys that you guys struggle with is maintaining strong mental composure. Oh, they're not just good, they're amazing. What if I told you he could make himself plus 20 without an assist? Plus 16? Okay. Cool. Well, the basics to creating good pressure starts with observation. Observe what your opponent is doing. Because the biggest thing that you have to accept about the situation that you guys are currently in is that you guys are new to creating really strong high-level stagger pressure based on what you're learning. Which means you're treating this exercise like you're in training mode. What do I mean by that? Well, like right here, I'm just kind of practicing my staggers, getting a feel for my rhythm. I don't like that, so I'm going to do... There we go. I like that. That's cool. That'll bait someone. I think I can dash reset safely here. Yeah, let's go. And that's kind of how a lot of people, when beginning, treat pressure. They treat it like they're doing this. Mix-ups. But you're not. You're not just doing mix-ups. You're not just labbing 50-50s and doing nothing. You are, essentially... You're not just labbing mix-ups and doing nothing. You guys are essentially looking at yourselves to make sure that you have the timing right. But when you do a 50-50, that's a single-player game. There's no interaction on your opponent's behalf other than to guess if you do it correctly. Pressure is not single-player. You need your opponent to interact. Everything that I'm doing is designed to bait an interaction. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the follow. I end less waltz 22. Oh, I endless waltz 22. Oh, nice. Nice. I dig it. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep trying to read everything like it's a Japanese name. But thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much, and I hope you're enjoying the chat. Point is, this is designed to get people to interact with it. Hey, man, how's it going? I want someone to mash right there. Mash. Well, that doesn't quite reach. Cool. Awesome. That's good. If you're already due, then you're fine. Now, here's the thing. Another thing that I want to talk about, since you brought it up. Conditioning. Conditioning is kind of a misnomer. I don't have to, like, conditioning does not really apply to condition to not mash here. That's not our goal. I'm not trying to create safety so I could do a mix. I'm trying to, because that mix is going to hit regardless, or they're going to block it. Most people, this situation's already, if they're at high level, this situation's already too risky for them to do anything, which is why you'll see Wawa often get away with this, and this is how Wawa pressures, by the way. Oh my god. Buff this man, please. Buff this man. Please. There we go. Buff this man's JM. Arxis, I'm begging you. Just buff it, please. Point is, I don't have to condition them for that. They're gonna hold it. Pain. Can I get a bread in the chat, please, for Goku Black's JM? Can I get a baguette in the chat? Would you buff his command grab? Yes, I would. I would add a nice layer to a solo pressure. Point is, right there, very, very important. They're already doing stuff. Like, most people that you play that are, like, competent at the game will already understand that they can't do anything here. This is very risky. So they'll just down back black all day. And then, of course, you create respect. Or you abuse respect. And that's when you start hitting them, like, especially in the corner, you just start doing stuff like this. Oh, you're just gonna block me? Okay. Good luck teching that. And that's something that you can condition. That's gross. And if you have assists, oops, did it wrong. Oh my god. There we go. So yes, you can open someone up with Goku Black. Black's fine the way he is. No, he needs buffs. I like him not in the game. Well, yeah, honestly, he'd be really strong if they actually buff him. Like, I feel like if they buff him the wrong way, he will become insane, which is really funny. Point is, that's when you start doing stuff. Now, something, I probably shouldn't be telling you guys this, but a situation in which I have actually, abused respect is if I know an opponent's blocking me and everything, and they're like, okay. I've done that before to people. And that's a call-out when I'm like, oh, you have basically blocked so much, I feel comfortable doing that. Or I can do this. You have made me feel so comfortable that I am literally walking forward. I'm not even holding back because I'm so confident that you're not going to mesh and you're getting hit. That's a really great example of creating respect and abusing respect. It's something that Black is actually kind of creative. There you go. Card cancel. Card cancel string. It's gross. It's gross. That will open people up, even at high level. That will get someone. Okay, they can add a plus. Okay, I'm not going to talk about black buffs today, unfortunately. Maybe next time. But the point being is, when you pressure somebody for the first time, you need to understand that the situations that you're creating are very safe. And everything that your opponent does tells you something about them. So right now, let's pretend that I'm fighting a real opponent, and they're just blocking everything. This tells me that they're respectful. All right, fine. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Oh, you want to block me? Okay. Fine. Now, all of that's unsafe. This is a free 2H. Just doing this, free 2H. But they're not going to 2H you most of the time. If they 2H you, that means, okay, my opponent is now waiting for an opportunity to do something. You could do something like that to bait the 2H. That is an example of how your opponent communicates with you. Yeah, no, he's not unplayable. He's just very weak, and he really needs help. He needs a lot of love, but he's pretty playable. He feels really good, too. Hey, what's up, Kazi? How's it going? But, yeah. So back to the point, right? Cool. Well, Ken, how do I do this for the first time? Well, it all starts from the beginning. The first step is paying attention to what your opponent is doing. And then, when they do something, consider why. If they are an example, and these are examples, everything is going to depend, and we will go over them and all of these examples and more in greater detail. But the beginning of this, that's really, really important to understand, is why, what are they doing? If my opponent respects, disrespect. Do something that will force them to want to disrespect. Do something fake. Be fearless. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. All right, fine. You don't want to play the game, that's cool. I'm fine practicing my block strings. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to get hit. Now, if your opponent is really good, now here's the important thing. If your opponent's really good, they waited out your assists, and it's very clear that they're waiting for you to mess up, and they're looking for an opportunity for you. They're looking for you to repeat a string. They're looking for you to do something, and then do... they're looking for a way to get out of there. This is what you do. End your turn. If you're not comfortable, if you no longer feel confident pressuring because you know your opponent's getting ready to disrespect, maybe they have as much bar as you see on the screen and they're just waiting for the opening, just disengage. Return to neutral. Your turn's over. You return to neutral. You get your assists back. There will be another opportunity later. And then the next opportunity you have, blow the mix early. Because they're expecting you to block forever again. Just blow the mix. Yeah, disengage your pressure. Disengage your pressure. Knowing when to do that is very strong. If I see somebody sitting there like this, and they have full assists, they have resources, I just blew... No, not that. I just blew both of my assists, trying to open them up. I'm Goku Black. I could press and go for a mix-up, but it's just not worth it. I'm just going to get out of there. I'm just getting out of here. Yeah, he can. That's why this is there. The thing is that it's very, like, you can mash the startup with that. It's like 19 frames. It's kind of risky. Not only that, but if your opponent's smart, and we'll talk about this in the defense portion, what would my opponent do here if I see you go for instant transmission? That. Dash block. Because if you go for the EX and then try to cross me up, I'm already blocking because I'm holding the other direction. If they do this, I just dash blocked. If they do this, I just closed the distance. So I'm like, hey, where are you going? We weren't done yet. So, better to super jump away. Harder to react to, and it's harder to pay attention to. And honestly, the fact that he can do this is really strong as well. So it's kind of hard to chase down. But my point being with our friend Goku Black is keep yourself safe. Most people will not be too mashy. And if they're too mashy, kill them for it. How do we kill them? Delay. That's not a frame trap, but it feels like a frame trap to some people. That timing is mashable, but it doesn't matter because it's the same timing as this. So that's a problem. No, I drop my pressure when I need to abuse things because I flat out don't do it. I create respect and either get hit trying to or disengage every time. Just DR. Just DR. Or just blow your 6M. You can do that after a medium. 5LL, DR. Yeah, you don't abuse the respect that you were given. Which means you're not giving your opponent an incentive to interact with your pressure. Now here's the thing. The problem with Goku Black, right? That a lot of people don't understand at high level, and I'm using this to illustrate an issue, is even though his pressure is great, because so much of it can be down-backed, it is really hard, unless you're very good at the game, to create incentive to interact with him. Which means there's no reason to do anything other than block. That can be a problem. So, if you are having a hard time, if you created respect and you're having a hard time abusing it, then do these two things. One, below your mix. So just go for the mix-up. You won. Or even better, Blow the mix early. Next time you get hit, because they're expecting you to condition. They're expecting you to do this. They're expecting you to do stuff like that. But how about it just that? Or what if you just show up and you're just like this? Just run up the yard. Or that. Or that. Or that. Well, maybe with a... Or that. There we go. Yes, it is. Because you're making it ambiguous what you're going to do. And because you're making it ambiguous and you're blowing the mix at different timings, they are unable to understand when you're going to go for a mix and when you're going to go for safe pressure, which means they're going to respect a lot. And that's when you start getting tricky. And that's when things start getting fun. So make sure you do that. That is what you need to do a little bit. Mask. But more importantly, just go ahead. Just go ahead and go in there. You've earned the respect. Now, if you are getting mashed on, make the timing more ambiguous. Like that. All but 2 of those were mashable. That's not mashable. And coincidentally, the one that's not mashable is the one that will literally kill them for trying. Keep in mind. All of this starts from one inherent issue, and that is you are focusing too much on yourself and not enough on your opponent. Pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Pressure is not a single player game. What your opponent does or doesn't do is just as important as your strings, because they are going to let you know what's effective. The few times that we've played, exactly, trust yourself, watch your enemy. You got this. So don't be afraid doing, will that work on Bamki? Maybe not. But will that work on me? Or will that work on Kasuga? Maybe. Pressure is tailored to your opponent. The way I pressure you is unique to you. The pressure that I come up with whenever I spar with one of you guys is our pressure. You helped me create that because I am going off what you give me. And when that begins to change, so does my pressure. If I notice you have a DP and I notice you're more willing to mash and use my DP, I start doing dash resets more. And then I start making it really ambiguous because now you're like, okay, he's baiting it. He's baiting it. Good pressure is whatever opens up your opponent. Now, of course, do I think it's high level? Are there ways that you can do it? Like, obviously, I will critique your pressure. But let me be the one to critique your pressure. Come show me and I will help you. But don't second guess yourself. Even if you're a fairly independent person and you can kind of figure out when it's good and when it's not good, when you're learning something like this, don't trust yourself. Just trust yourself because you need to believe. If you're second guessing yourself, if you're like, did I do that string right? Did I delay that block string enough? That's a bad mindset to go into it because what you're doing is thinking. And when you think, you may not realize it, but you create hesitation. And if I sense hesitation, I'm mashing. I'm level 3. I'm getting out of there because you created an opportunity. It is way too risky for me to sit here and block everything. I'm just getting out of there and creating a situation that's good for me, and I'm taking my turn back because you are not ready to pressure me. But I'm ready to pressure you. Exactly. Don't think about it too much. If you're worried about, man, is what I'm doing good, you're a subscriber, go ping me in the thing and be like, hey, can we do a couple of matches? Or, hey, can you evaluate my pressure? Am I doing something okay? Because if you do that, right, yes, they can. Yes, they can. It was fear, okay? It was fear that Kasuga smelled when he did this to my boy. When he did shit like that to my boy, that is fear. That is a call out. That is literally him telling you. Literally him telling you, you respect too much. And look at what I'm getting away with. This is him literally telling you, wake up. Because if you don't, I'm going to win. And Brian, if you watch those VODs, was very, very, very skittish. Both. It's both. Dealing with your opponents and enforcing your own. It's actually kind of the same thing. But a lot of the principles will carry over. I intend to have a full master course on defense coming later. I'm focusing on pressure first. But doing that is super, super important. Hey, how's it going, Duskpaw? Yeah, you want to be super, super, super careful and pay very close attention. Because you need to get out of there. Is it a case of if you have good pressure, you know how to pressure well, and you'll inherently have an advantage defending against pressure? Yes. Absolutely. Because you know what your timings are. The more you pressure and the more you get used to pressure, when your opponent starts pressuring you, especially with a character that you play, you know all of their timings. You know this character's timings. You know, you're like, that felt fake, I'm out. And because of that, your opponent needs to get a lot more creative when pressuring you. That doesn't mean that somebody playing the same character as you will never open you up. They will. But it's a lot harder. They have to work a little bit harder, and they have to pressure a little bit differently. But yes, for the most part. Okay, so I'm not good at using my safe reversals well. How should I get used to delays and rolling my inputs in the gaps? That's a practice thing. I completely understand what you're saying because I struggle with it too. I really do. But basically, what I do is I try not to reversal. I try to escape. So if I have a situation where I feel confident enough to reversal, I'm out. But if I know my opponent's going to frame trap, you have to think about it. You're doing a really big commitment. If you're wrong, you're gonna die. So what you want to do is call it out. That's a call out. So I would say practice in the lab, getting it, record a few stagger strings, put it on random, obviously, and then try level 3ing some of the gaps. It's a lot harder than it sounds. But once you get used to that, and you're confident in your level 3s, only do a level 3 or only do a DP if you're 100% sure it's going to hit. If you know what you're doing, you probably know what your opponent is doing. Unless your opponent throws in a little crack on occasion, then not even they know what they're doing. Yes and no. Even when they throw in crack on occasion, they can catch you off guard, but a patient opponent is watching everything that you're doing. Which means that they understand that if I do something like, woo! Woo! Like I'm doing like a crazy mix-up like that, they're like, I'm reflecting the assist, and now I'm 2H'ing you. So you gotta be careful. Because there are some... I don't think I can put this on YouTube now. But if you're a little bit of a crackhead when you pressure and whatnot, these players are the DEA. You don't want to get caught by them. Because you're like, oh, sir, license and registration, please. I'm reflecting and 2H'ing you to jail. Some people thrive off the Unga. Yeah, like Asuka. I throw crack in on occasion. It's always calculated. It should always be calculated when you're a little bit of a crackhead. That's such a cool mix-up. It's so weird, but I like it. But yes, very, very important to throw occasionally some schmicks in. Hello, Bobby. Welcome. I am Unga Bunga as hard as I can. So you're a Bardock player, is what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me, Kathleen. You're a Bardock player. Got it. Which is the character that is super good. Is this why Bardock is still relevant? No. The reason why Bardock is still relevant is because only a handful of characters in the game pressure as effectively as he does. Because his frame data is ridiculous. He not only that, but has amazing reach. It's very hard to tell when he wants to reset, see? it's very, very hard to block Bardock. And if you block him for too long, he has ways of keeping himself plus, and he can do this. And if you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump out of this. See? So yeah. Is it better to reflect 6M on reaction or just block? Always reflect 6Ms if you can. Reflecting 6M is never an unsafe situation for you. I intend to go over the 6M situation in full detail in its own masterclass, of course. No, Gogeta is not sort of in that camp. Gogeta is the camp master. Gogeta is the person who's driving the school bus to the fucking camp. Gogeta invented this shit before he was even in the game. Gogeta is a Street Fighter character in DBFZ. Worse, he's a Guilty Gear character in DBFZ. Gogeta is very much a ham. Hey, what's good, Kazi? Well, thank you so much for the gift subs once again, Shaft. You're too generous. Amazing, amazing. Giving out juice boxes and pretzel bags to the other characters who are in the camp. You are absolutely correct. Gogeta is broken. You don't, but... just play. There you go. The Goichi killer. Mans just needs reverse beat, and he's both rendered golden freeze. You are correct. Yes, he is. I mean, I don't necessarily have to play neutral if I 6S and 2H on reaction, sort of. Is there a baguette as a sub emote? Yes. The reason why there's a baguette emote is because my co-host, who can only be here on earlier days, so he'll be here on Saturday if you tune in. My co-host is French. The French word for bread is pan or pain, and it's spelled the exact same way as pain. So whenever someone says pain, we just put breads now because it's the same thing. That's why we do it. Yeah, that's why bread is a meme. The reason why we call Bamkey bread is because he's the one who started the pain amongst our friend group. He infected us all. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Now you just go bread. Take the emote, share it with your chat. Pain. The pain society lives on. The entire Gogeta stream was bread. Yeah, it's scary. But
I hear you're spreading my joke.
Yes. Gogeta has thick buttons. Double C thick. Yes. Yes, he is. Oh, don't massage my back. You're gonna grill me to this chair. I'm gonna have to end the stream because I'm just gonna fall asleep. Oh dear. What's the Discord? Don't worry. After the stream, everyone who was subbed will actually get a link. So if you like what you see here, feel free to subscribe with Amazon Prime or whatnot, and you're more than welcome to join our sub. The sub is filled with a lot of people, including me and Star, where we actually get together and we talk about high-level Dragon Ball, and you guys get a little bit more one-on-one action with me than you normally do on the stream. So I'm able to focus more on your pressure and how you're developing and help you kind of steer in the right path. Those are for people that are really, really, really serious about getting better at Dragon Ball FighterZ. So if you really, really want to take your play to the next level, I definitely recommend subbing. My wallet is dead at the moment. You don't even have to ask, man. I got you. For those of you that don't know, she's an IRL friend of mine for a very long time. And thank you so much for being here.
Who?
Kathleen.
Oh, Kathleen?
Yeah.
Hi, Kathleen.
Because I tend to be aggressive and tend to... should I just out 17 points so I can patiently wait? Yeah. Yeah, go for it. I heard some people talk of using 5L OS when someone empty jumps into lows. I have never actually been able to understand how to punish those. Should I even get to punish it or blocking? She says she loves you.
Oh, love you too.
Love you too. This is what she says. Okay. So what you're talking about is when someone empty jump lows, you're not in block zone, which means you can just mash. right? The reason why the way you punish it's like this. Like that. Or my personal favorite. Another thing that you can do to kind of bait it out is do this. Just whiff a button over them. Because then they think they're blocking, so they're just going to block high, and they're not going to mash anything because they don't want to get counter hit. So that's how I bait these. Another thing you can do is if you can super jump, float, delay, button. That works all the time. You will see Wawa hit people with that all the time. Should I be trying to keep cross-ups true strings? No! No, if cross-ups are true strings, you automatically block them even without having to change the direction of your block. It's called cross-up protection. This game has it. You need it to not be a true block string in order to hit. So no, do not try to make cross-ups true strings. You can make the setup true string, but do not make the cross-up itself true string. But yeah, point is, believe in yourself. This is very, very, very important. Believe in your confirms, and if you're not sure if you're doing something right, if you are in the Discord, please just go ahead and ping me. We'll set something up, and I can definitely check if your pressure's okay, and I can help you in the right direction. Is there a jargon dictionary? Yes. Can somebody please link Dust Loop? The one good thing it's for. I do have PS4, but we probably have some lag. But if you actually show me a match with a training partner of yours, if you record it and then send it to me, I can definitely evaluate your pressure that way. Oh, wow, you can't post links?
No, the bot doesn't let you post links.
Oh, this bot sucks. Can I have a bread in the chat for Nightbot?
I'm sure if you asked Sai nicely, Sai would redo Nightbot so you can put links in the chat. I know why it's there, though. In case it's not obvious.
Awesome. Wonderful. Point being, yeah, if you have any recorded matches, feel free to post them all. Point being is, so far, that is what you need. The last piece of advice that I can give you, because this is the most important, is have a goal. You also have a history of making Nightbot angry. Yeah, Nightbot, come on.
What else is Nightbot doing?
Nightbot, like, Kathleen is famous for messing with them.
Oh,
With
Kathleen was
Nightbot.
messing with Nightbot?
Yeah. Ken, have you noticed Buggy the... No, I haven't, actually. I've had zero problems pulling off those mix-ups. Like, I don't know what people are talking about. I have a lot of fun doing it. The only time I have had a negative experience with the double IAD is if I'm trying to buffer, like, because I like to do this pattern a lot, and I buffer the dash. Like, that dash is buffered. Like, that dash is buffered. And if I don't, like I'm doing this, like, you know, ID back, like, just doing this. Doing this with Gogeta is very difficult. I can't. I hate it too much. I'm sorry. It's literally just a JPEG crawly. I don't like it. I'm sorry I couldn't show you guys Gogeta. I need that season. I'm actually, like, if it wasn't for the day, I would have just bought the season pass. Deep regret not buying it, to be honest, because I want to be playing Gogeta right now. Should I go back to Blueku? The neutral I can kind of deal with. It is completely up to you. I cannot make any assessments. I don't know the rest of your team. And I don't know how you play, most importantly. If you are not comfortable with Gogeta, I mean, Blueku likes your team. If you're not comfortable with a character on your team, or you're not comfortable with Gogeta, don't play Gogeta. You don't have to play him. Or you can keep him on a sub-team and just play your normal team while you're getting used to Gogeta. He is very new. But I would not make any hard commitments at this time. That would be my advice. But the last thing that I want to talk about before we get to more questions, because this one's going to be very, very, very important, okay, is how to feel safe when you're pressuring. Just believe. Create ambiguity in your rhythm. Start slow, speed up, like that, and then just hit. The best way to feel safe is to pay attention to your opponent. And that right there, my friends, is all you need to create the right mindset. All you need is to get rid of those misconceptions. All you need is to create a goal for your pressure. And all you need to do is watch your opponent and understand your situations. The more you guys learn, the easier it's going to become. Right now, I wouldn't try getting more complicated than that at the current moment. But the mindset is important, because here's something that I never managed to tell you guys. And I started talking about it on stream. How many of you guys have seen the set between Wawa and Goichi, the first to 10, in Season 2? So in that set, Wawa, for lack of, I mean, all due respect, I would love, I don't want to be mean, and I don't want to sound mean. That man got bodied by Goichi. I don't say that about Wawa lightly. He got bodied by Goichi. And I mean, it was a first to 10, and he only won 1 round. That man lost 10-1. That is brutal. And Goichi's defense was out of its mind. Goichi was blocking everything, but rewatching it, I noticed something. Towards the later half of the matches, Goichi started getting tagged a lot by 5M, 2M. He was getting hit by mediums trying to get out of Wawa's pressure. But Wawa, because he was faced with such a wall, did not believe in his pressure. He did not know what would work to open this man up. And it slipped past him that a couple of times he genuinely did. And he could have killed him for it. Not paying attention to your opponent's habits and what they're doing is very important. But if you don't believe in your pressure, if you don't, it sounds very shonen, but you have to believe. Every time I hit you guys with a confirm, it is difficult. It's very difficult to pick up, but it's impossible to pick it up if you keep trying to stagger because you don't believe that 5M is going to hit. But if you're like, I'm going to go for it, and you're watching carefully so that way you're ready to pick it up, that feels good. Every time I open one of you guys up, I'm always just right there. I'm always just so confident that it's going to hit. To the point where sometimes while fighting, I'm like, this is going to hit. And then it hits. Just because I know it. I felt it in my bones. Because I was paying attention to you. Because I know what you want to do. And I can almost know the decision you're about to make. And how I'm about to punish it. Having that level of confidence in your pressure is critical to being able to effectively open up your opponents at higher level. Being plus is a mindset. I really like the way that is. Yeah. Being plus is a mindset. You have to believe in your pressure, which is why I genuinely don't think you should try to self-evaluate your pressure. If you are having doubts about your pressure, come to me, come to Star, come to one of the Angel trainees, and we'll definitely help you out, and we'll help you get to that. And we'll definitely help you get to that levels where you need to be, and we'll definitely adjust some stuff. But yeah, being confident is extremely important. If you're not confident in your pressure, if you're watching your pressure and you're like, I don't know if I like that, you're not paying attention to your opponent, and you just ate a raw level 3. And that,
especially against Alonso,
that's not a good feeling. That is not a good feeling to have. So you definitely need to develop that habit. And the way you do it, and the way we develop those habits, those good mindsets, is by playing a lot, practicing against one another, being very careful with how we approach the situations, studying a lot, joining the stream, whatever you need to do. But that is how you get comfortable. You do. You do say that a lot. But let me help you with that. The reason why is because it may not be very good, but did it open up your opponent? It may not open me up, it may not open Brian up, but did it open up your opponent? Because maybe that wasn't the right answer for us, but that was the right answer for them. And everyone has different questions you need to find an answer to. Remember that. Everyone you pressure is going to defend very differently. I do not defend like Azure. Azure will hold your bad pressure. I will mash out of it every single time. And it's not because I don't like blocking, by the way. It's because I don't do it. But like these mindsets, it's very, very important. It is very important because I remember something. It was a very clear thing that I want to talk about. Like, this is how important mindsets are. Mindsets are going to inform your decision making. And I remember when I was playing Kasuga when he came to visit, Meta kept saying, I think Meta said something. Meta said, "Is this where we tell Ken to just block?" You see, the funny thing about that is that I was more disrespectful against Kasuga than I was, literally anyone else I've played. And the reason why, and Kazi will tell you, and Kasim, please confirm this for me, you cannot afford to respect Kasuga. Because if you respect him, if you show him that he can get away with dumb shit, he will hit you with the worst mix-ups. But what makes Kasuga so good is that he can also play very, very safe. He can be very safe because he has barrier. So he'll do something that you think is risky and you're like, nope, I'm out. And you're like, barrier. He was wrong a few times when he tried to bait me, and then I mashed on him a few times. I was a little bit more successful in that regard, but you can't respect him. Because if you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to block. I've seen Wawa get cracked. You're not blocking that. You're not blocking that. That man's pressure is something French, man. That his pressure is a straight baguette that has been stale for the last 2 weeks, has a little bit of mold on it, and he's gonna crack it on your forehead. Great. Now I want a 6H emote, but with Kefla holding a baguette. Yeah, he knows. He knows. But the point is that's the mind game between us. That's the mind game that happens. The way he pressured Kazi isn't the same way he pressured me. The same way he pressured me and Kazi isn't the same way he pressured Bamki, and so on and so on and so on. So pressure is a mindset. And you guys definitely have to get used to paying attention to your opponents. But that's what we need to do going forward, because every single masterclass from here on out is going to heavily depend on creating situations against your opponent. And that just about does it for me, guys. If you guys have any more questions, I welcome them. Go ahead and hit me with all the questions you got. So it would be more correct that he says that he gets to know. Yes. I had people actually, Kasuga's at a disadvantage when he fights people that have seen him play, because you've had time to study his matches, so you know how he plays, but he doesn't know how you play. And he has to figure that out. Now, what's really cool about a high-level player is that he will figure it out really, really quickly. Like, within the first couple of block strings, he knows exactly what you're going to want to do. Usually by, like, the middle of the first match, he has a fairly accurate idea of what you're attempting to do at that point, which is kind of scary. But yes, but generally speaking, he does get to know you. And once he gets to know you, he will tailor his pressure to you. If he does something, it's because it's working on you. Like, and this was true pain. This is where I really felt the lag. He was playing a match with Baby against a particular subscriber here, and she kept kind of super dashing him because she thought that it was a free super dash without realizing the entire time he was baiting it. He just couldn't punish it because it's very, very hard to 2H and lag. Is it a bad idea to think of pressure as a series of reads that are relatively safer than reading a neutral? No, because you're not reading your opponent. Well, I guess you kind of are, but not really. You're just creating situations because like reads imply that you know what your opponent's going to do. I mean, it's not inaccurate. I'm just be careful, I guess. Because the thing is that like, yeah, I like that a lot better. You're examining. It's more like you're examining and then making a decision, an educated decision based on their behavior. So if I notice they like to mash, I'm going to delay my frame traps a lot. That same delay on another player might get me mashed on, but on this player, it's going to bait that mash and they're going to get killed. Or they're going to hold it. And if they hold it, I have to try a whole new series of strategies. There are endless situations that come with pressure. That's why this topic is so evolving, and it's why I'm still talking about it right now. And it's also why we're doing a pressure 101, which we are now, in my opinion, roughly halfway through. I want to finish up a pressure 101. I want to get you guys staggering. My goal is to get all of my subscribers staggering. My goal is to get you guys opening up and winning exchanges and ranked. And my goal is to get you practicing against each other and practicing your rhythms. And then from that point on, we're going to review these concepts and a few more, but examine them in very, very close detail so you begin to take advantage of the situations you're able to create. So a great example would be talking about spacing, talking about key blasts, talking about Oki, talking about the reflect mind game, talking about 50-50s, talking about implementing mix-ups in your pressure, talking about baiting your opponent to interacting with something that they can interact with depending on your character. Things like certain character situations like certain character tools that are plus and how you could use that. Things like examining variable timing on certain normals and specials and how that could actually create pressure. Things like DR and how to deal with DR, how to hide DR, how to tech DR. We want to talk about that. And then the one I'm very excited for is this 3-hour masterclass I have on just one situation, which is 6M. And once you start learning about those situations, you go deep and you realize, man, this is a rabbit hole. Y'all don't realize this, but you just opened up a rabbit hole. Because if you really look at me from a business point of view, you're like, okay, he's teaching high-level pressure. What happens after you teach high-level pressure in high-level situations? You're going to run out of stuff to talk about. No, I won't, because I've been talking about this shit for the last 1.5 years with Star, and we decided to finally monetize it. And we still haven't reached the bottom. I can't see the bottom, guys. Every time I learn something, there's just something new. Exactly. And not only that, but you guys are going to find your own identity in all of this as well. Like, you guys are going to find your own identity that's going to let you pressure the way you pressure. It's going to let you make sure that you can make the decisions and capitalize on them the way you want to, that's unique to you, unique to your team, and really, 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 really difficult and really important. So yeah. Yeah, it's a long rabbit hole, and I have to get you guys there. And all of this rabbit hole, by the way, begins and ends with that. This. Because I have seen the most cursed mix-ups. The most cursed mix-up, I can't even replicate it. That's how cursed it is. Okay? Let me see if I can do some justice explaining to you. Okay? But it was something like, maybe I'll have to demonstrate it. Why isn't this in alphabetical order, by the way? Right? I feel like this should be in alphabetical order. I'm feeling hype for the future. I was kind of feeling bleak, but now if I have confidence, I'm going to have it 24/7. Oh, yeah, you build that confidence, it's not going away. My intention, my hope is that everyone who subscribes to me, everyone who joins that Discord, and everyone who participates in this chat, my goal is to make it so the next time you're able to play offline and this game is still alive, you body everyone. I want to get you guys to the point where Kasuga and the matches that you guys have with players like Kasuga are close. That's my goal. Ugh, this character is so weird. Let's see. Everlyn, if you're listening to this, the rice. I don't know if I can get up in time and set a timer. Damn. She just straight up said no. Wow. Okay then. I know you just have a specific way you like to do it and you like to stir. Your rice always comes out better than mine.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be identical if you followed my instructions.
She's so cocky. Anyway, this mix-up, this steals the corner. Okay? I'm not sure how he did this, but he did something like... Nope. But he managed to push base Vegeta back into the corner, and he fast fell like this, and then opened him up with the low. And he could choose what side that comes out on. The most cursed thing I have ever seen, and I don't know how to do it. I can't even figure it out. I don't even know how to do it. But it's cursed. It's so bloody cursed. And that hits pretty much everyone. You know what I mean? Wawa brings that out. And then what do I see work on Goichi? That. It all comes back to this. So if you guys can master this, if you guys can master that, you're ready to start some real shit. You're ready to start some fires. You're ready to basically light some fires under some asses when you are actually when they have the audacity to block you. When they have the audacity to block you in this video game, you light a fire, and they become afraid when you just run up and do this. And that's my goal. And also, just to help you guys, I also plan on having character masterclasses, and I plan on going over all 43 characters in the game. In full detail. And sometimes with a guest. That guest usually being someone at high level. I intend to have some people in here. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's almost like you guys are in for the long haul. Hopefully you guys stick with me and don't get bored of me. But if you do stick with me, I will make you strong. And I have no doubt in my mind that I could. I don't see that happening, Mask. But there's a lot of Dragon Ball we gotta play. At least until June. In which case, we're gonna slowly migrate Strive into the rotation. Oh, yeah, do it. Do it. Now, I don't know about you guys, But every single time I finally a master class I can miss the strive classes. Yeah, probably pain, but yeah. I will still be talking mostly about Dragon Ball though. Dragon Ball will always be the main focus of this particular. Obviously, it's called Whis' Training Ground, but yeah, can't wait for Soul. But yeah, guys, that's going to be our stream. A bit of a shorter one today, but I wanted to keep the VOD nice and simple so that way you guys can go back and review all the information. I'm going to stop recording here, but my subscribers, you're more than welcome to join me in the voice chat in our private Discord. I will get the new subscribers that link immediately after ending the stream as soon as I can, and we can talk more over there. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. The VOD will be up on the channel very, very, very shortly, and then we'll also break this up into chapters and add it to YouTube in the coming weeks, probably in a week. But I want this to be an overview that will help you guys get into the right mindset to stagger, and hopefully I feel like I did a good job. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I've been Ken, and I can't wait to see you guys. Make sure to join me on Friday. I have a special goodie for the people in the Discord that want to come in. Yeah, maybe. I can make small videos. I've been thinking about making YouTube videos with Star, in order to break them down into like certain little situations. I need the link. Somebody get this man a link. I will get you the link to the Discord, no problem. I will get you a link to the Discord, no problem. More importantly, I do have some goodies coming up this week and next week. I do want to tell you guys about something very, very exciting. On Friday, I am recording the first episode of my podcast, and I don't mind having an audience. So my subscribers, if you would like to, you guys are actually more than welcome to join me and Star as we talk about rollback netcode and how it would change the culture of the game if it were to come out, and what Dragon Ball could potentially become if it had rollback netcode, and why it's important for fighting games to have it. If you're interested in hearing our thoughts, you can actually catch us live before we record and edit and bring it up to YouTube, so you can see an unedited, uncensored version of everything that we go through, and you can see some funny shenanigans and bloopers as we try to get our takes just right during the podcast. Another thing that's coming up is Saturday. Clear your schedules, guys, because I'm throwing you to the wolves again. If you guys want to know exactly how good you are, I will be evaluating you, but I won't be playing you, and it won't be an angel trainee coming to evaluate you guys. Since you guys seem very comfortable fighting Kasuga, the person you will be facing that is the King of the Hill in our next ring match on Saturday afternoon will be Star, and you will be facing his Yamcha. So, if you're interested in seeing just how good Star actually is, and the pain that I went through for 6 months playing this guy, you guys are going to want to tune in. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I've never fought Kasuga. Well, if you want, you can fight Star. I hope you can too. It would be really, really nice. And it's not that difficult in 6 frames, so I wouldn't get too excited, but it would be really, really nice. I would love to see how you guys handle it. I agree. Well, if you come by enough, definitely it'll... Oh, you're on PS4. I'm so sorry. Damn. Yeah, I just realized. I'm so sorry. Can I get a bread in the chat before I go, please? Somebody get this man some bread. Man, that's why we've never played. Yeah, legit. Sadness. Alright, guys. Thank you so much. For my subscribers, you guys can meet me in the Discord. Over and out.